Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the May 13th, 2013 Raleigh Board of Selectmen. Remind everybody that this meeting is being audio taped and videotaped. First on the agenda to call the meeting to order and Pledge of Allegiance. Stu Dalzell, will you lead us tonight?
I'd be honored to. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Stu. Chairman's comments. Well, let's lay back a little bit tonight. Tonight is the last night Stu Dalzell is with us as selectman on the board. Stu, it has been a pleasure working with you, and I know I speak for the whole town and this board. We want to thank you so much, Stu, for all the hard work you put in and all the work you've done going up to the water board, the skating pond that you worked on for the children, all the hard work that you've done 4th of July, working for the children and making sure that was done, something that you remember as a child and something that we've carried on with this board and going forward. And Stu, I just can't say enough, and it's been a pleasure working with you. And I know, again, I speak for everyone in the town. So Stu,
Thank you.
From the
Thank
bottom
you
of
very
my
much. I appreciate it. And it's been a pleasure working with you gentlemen.
and we know that, you know,
We're all working for the same purpose for the good of the town.
and I know you'll be going up to the water department. You're running unopposed. Well, and if you lose that election, you'll have to explain now.
Sure you don't want us to write your names, though.
Again, Stu, thank you so much.
Can you
for
sign in,
everything you've
please?
done. Okay.
And pass it down.
Anybody else want to say anything?
Thank you.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure. You work hard and you put in a great effort, and we appreciate it.
One thing I gotta say, Stu, you're really been like the social conscience of this board. And many times, you know, you've come and said something, you know, to sway the board one way or the other. And talking about, you know, and you've done it in a good way. You know, you're heartfelt, and you looked at an issue and you just said, you know, I think we should go this direction. So thank you for that, for being that social conscience of the board.
I'm gonna say, you're kind of the consciousness of the board.
Yeah.
When we start to go a little bit awry, you put us back on track.
Thank you.
So we appreciate that very much. I'm sure the townspeople do too.
We know you're gonna do a good job when you go up there. So
And I promise I'll do my best.
I know you will. And we all know that.
Yep.
So, with that, let's move on. Okay, it's 7:04. At 7:05 will be citizen query, and we'll have citizen query from 7:05 until 7:15. Again, we have about a minute before we get to 7:05. Anybody wishing to speak at that time that's in here? Okay. Give me 1 minute. So we got to 7:05, okay? We'll be there in about 30 seconds, so we want to do everything on time. Okay. All right, we got some general business to do before we have we have 3 appointments tonight. We have an appointment with Claire and Richard Curran to discuss a special permit compliancy issue. That's at 7:15. 7:45, we have an appointment with Highway Surveyor Ron Keefe to discuss lifting the freeze for a secretary and temporary truck driver. 8 p.m. we have Senator Har is coming in for a presentation in memory of Scott Levitt. So with that, it is now 7:05. Will you identify yourself, sir?
Yeah, my name is Stephen Castellotis. I've
Steve.
been a citizen of the town for 31 years. And I just want to thank Mr. Dalzell for his services, and I've known him not personally, but I know him just throughout the town. He's always done everything in the best interest of the town. He's a good man, and I wish you the best in your endeavors over with the water department.
Thank you, Steve. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Steve.
Very nice.
Okay, anybody else would like to say anything? It's 7:05 until 7:15. We have another 10 minutes here. So let's go to General business. I can find it. Okay. Sign the ADA proclamation. Okay. Okay, the Town of Raleigh proclamation. We, the Board of Selectmen of the Town of Raleigh, Massachusetts, by virtue of the authority vested in us by the people of Raleigh as elected officials, do hereby proclaim Friday, July 26, 2013, as the spirit of the 23rd anniversary of the American with Disabilities Act, ADA. We urge all citizens of the town, its community leaders, business and government officials to celebrate the contributions that people with disabilities have made and continue to make. As the Board of Selectmen of Raleigh, we renew our commitment to upholding the non-discrimination principles of the ADA. We urge that all citizens support the efforts of the Independent Living Center of North Shore and Cape Ann Incorporated, which is the voice of all persons with disabilities and their families. This proclamation is an acknowledgement of the rights of all persons with disabilities under the ADA in their daily activities, struggles, and triumphs here in our town. In witness whereof, I hereby set my hand and seal of the Town of Raleigh this 13th day of May, 2013. Do I have a motion from the board?
I'll make that motion, that
Okay.
Chairman Snow signs the ADA,
Second.
American with Disabilities Act.
And I have a second. With that, I will,
All those in favor?
all those in favor? That's right.
Aye.
Aye.
Here we go. Now it's official. Okay. Again, people who walked in just a few minutes ago, and I think after I read, just to remind you all that this meeting is being videotaped and audio taped. Okay. Moving on to general business number 2, letter from the Raleigh Municipal Light Board regarding street lighting. Raleigh Municipal General Manager Dan Folding has sent a letter, see attached, advising the Board of Commissioners have voted to give the town's public, street lighting costs for FY14. Town of Raleigh, reference to pilot vote Raleigh Municipal Light Board. Dear Board of Selectmen, per vote of the Raleigh Light Board Commissioners on February 12, 2013, it has been approved that the Raleigh Municipal Lighting Plant will forgive the Town of Raleigh its obligation to pay for public street lighting for FY14. For your accounting purposes, an annual cost for FY14 street lighting is $30,486.43. Sincerely, Dan Folding, General Manager, RMLP. With that, I thank the General Manager for, that is a great relief to the town, $30,000 for the lighting. Any words?
That is,
Oh, I'm sorry.
that is very nice. It's something they did not have to do, but it's so nice.
It does work out well for the town.
It does.
It certainly does.
I know there's a lot of the communities around us who do not have a municipal lighting plant struggle with street lighting costs. I know Good Report just recently put a committee together and decided to buy out some of the street lighting in their city and run it themselves because they could get it for a better price. So we don't have to worry about that here. The municipal light plant takes care of the street lighting, does all the maintenance and repairs, and they can charge you electricity.
We're doing the switch out too, to the LEDs.
Yes, yeah.
How much the town has done so far?
There's not a whole lot, only because of the cost of the LEDs when they first started was pretty high on the market, but those costs are coming down all the time. And one of the big projects that we did was the Christmas lighting on the common, and now it's all LED, so that price has come way down. But
as we replace existing fixtures with LEDs, we'll see a reduction in the actual expense.
I saw something, I was reading an article about, they said, talking about LEDs, and they said across America, because the LEDs coming in and the energy costs being cut, that the number of new electrical plant generation is not needed because
Exactly.
that's
Yeah.
good. So we'd like to send a letter over to the light board to thank them.
Absolutely.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion that we send a letter to the Board of Commissioners, Light Commissioners, and as well as the manager.
Okay.
Second.
I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Very nice, very much appreciated.
Sure is. Okay. Okay. Need some budget transfers here. Okay. According to chapter 44, section 33B, need some transfers. Planning department consultant to planning department expenses. Transfer $600 from line 45 consultant to line 47 expenses. Okay. At the,
So, Mr. Chairman, in the months of May and June, the town, acting through its Board of Selectmen and Finance Committee, can make interdepartmental transfers. So this is pretty routine now,
okay.
that we'll have more coming through. So, this is the first one that we've gotten. It's just, believe it or not, now in the middle of May, but it seems like it.
With that, do I have a motion to make the transfer?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
And I'll have to sign this, gentlemen. Try the last name too, helps.
Last time, so.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you. Okay. General business number 4, renew PRS group contract. The board has received a memo from Karen's Summit as, from Treasurer Karen Summit, as one of the IS coordinators, asking the selectmen to vote to renew and sign the contract with PRS Group for computer consulting services. And this is from Karen Summit to the Board of Selectmen. And it says the IS committee is requesting that the Board of Selectmen, in accordance with the description of services, and request a price quotation for computer consulting services starting with the period of July 1, 2012, exercise the option to renew the contract for computing consulting services with PRS Group for the first incremental year of 2 additional years, as stated, the agreement between the Town of Raleigh and PRS Group Incorporated, dated May 29, 2012. This one-year period will begin July 1st, 2013. And I see our treasurer is in the room. Do you have any comment on this?
They've done a great job for us, and we would like to continue using them. They've worked with us ever since I've been here, and we've been very happy, so.
That sounds good then. Do I have a motion from the board?
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion. Thank you, Jack. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
And we'll sign.
Thank you.
Welcome, Karen. Okay. All right, we'll stop general business here because we have an appointment. Okay, our first appointment of the night. 7:15. Oh, as also 7:05, 7:15, the citizen query is now over. And again, we enter into appointment. Claire and Richard Curran to discuss special permit compliancy issues. Debbie received a call on Thursday, May 9th from Claire Curran. She and her husband are requesting to speak with the selectmen. Debbie's conversation went as follows. Market Basket special permit with the planning board required the forested woodland in the back of their property to remain untouched. The trees in this area were not to be cut. This area is a buffer between the backyards homes of Cedar Wood Lane, such as Claire and Richard Curran. Mrs. Curran said that the wooded area created a buffer from sight and sound of Market Basket. The store's dumpsters is located in the back of the building near their property line. Market Basket cut the trees when they were install their new septic system, but did not apply to the planning board to modify the special permit, which would have required the public hearing and an abutter notification. The special permit was not modified at the time. The abutters weren't notified. Since that time, they hear the dumpsters being emptied every morning and can see clearly from the family room, the back of the building and the dumpsters, and hear the noise from the plaza. Mrs. Curran said that she and her husband have had discussions with the planning board on this. Apparently, Market Basket is putting up a picket fence now. The Currans are not satisfied with this. They would prefer a horizontal fence or a barrier fence to block out the noise. They are asking to meet with the selectmen to discuss these issues. They are also concerned about how the fence is to be placed along the back of the property line because there is a berm. Okay, with that, Mr. Curran, would you like to come up here and sit?
Good evening. Thank you for setting this up. I'll go back to 2009, and the planning board people who are here today, they were not, Mr. Bryant and Katrina were not there in 2009. Back in 2009 was when this started, and in 2009, Mr. Witcher, this is Cliff Witcher, he's one of the abutters, and there's Doug Mahoney, another abutter. Mr. Witcher saw stakes that had been driven in the ground and orange tape put around them. And that was the first time and the only time that we were made aware of the fact that something was going on out in the property that was the buffer zone that was between our properties and the Market Basket building. And to the best of our knowledge, no one else knew it. In fact, I called the health, he's the coordinator of health services, and the impression I got from him is that they did not know that the people from Market Basket had actually gone in and cut a lane out in order to get some equipment in there in order to do perk testing. All right? Now, at that time, we sent the letter to the planning board, which I will provide you a copy of. We also sent one to the Board of Health. And what we did was we requested to be put on the agenda in order to discuss what was going to take place out behind the house. And end of the day, the only ones who really came back to us was the Board of Health. The letter went out to both the Board of Health and the Planning Board. Registered receipt requested. Okay? It came back signed, but we never got a phone call, we were never put on the agenda. So we pushed the issue, and the only board that would actually put us on the agenda was the Board of Health. And I've served in public office. I served on this board for 2 terms. And I felt as though, all right, at least we're going to see a board, we're gonna get an opportunity to discuss it. And at that time, the abutters made the presentation and gave them the history all the way back to when Market Basket was just beginning to be discussed back in the middle 80s. Because between myself, Mr. Witcher, we had some of the information, but then we acquired other information by making a public request of the documentation, and we were able to put together, more or less piece the whole thing together. And we went before the Board of Health, we made the presentation, but in spite of that, they still were allowed to put a system in. It was a reserve area, I understand, and I'll show you on the drawings, but at the end of the day, it's come to light now that they want to put another freestanding building someplace else. When we went before the Board of Health back in 2009, 2010, they couldn't put it in the other area because they had no other land available to put it. But the only place they did the perk testing was in that area that was designated for the reserve area. But in order to do that, they had to cut down the trees. What the Board of Health should have done was they should have sent us to the planning board. But they didn't. Because if I'm looking to alter some conditions on the property that I own, do I come to you folks?
No, you have to go.
You go to the planning board. They didn't go to the planning board. They never even went in front of the planning board, ever. It was the Board of Health that we dealt with. And what we got from the Board of Health as an outcome was, and I'll show you the pictures of it, clear cutting behind the houses, taking down trees that were supposed to stay there forever, and we got what we got was a token of some trees behind the house after the system was put in, and some promises that have never come about. I don't want to knock over anybody's water, but, and the folks in the Board of Health have seen this, because if you want to take the time to watch the December 7th, 2011 meeting of the Planning Board, that's where we made a full presentation of all of the paperwork. We've got like 46 documents
When did the field go in?
in 2010.
Dick, what date was that again? The date you just gave?
The meeting that we were at,
Yeah.
12/7/2011.
Was Market Basket at that meeting? The
They were not.
representatives? Yeah, Dick?
I am. Excuse me. These are the original plans, and as you can see, right there is reserve, subsurface. That's the reserve area,
Okay.
and it was supposed to be 105 feet by 60. All right? And you can see there's ourselves, there's the Gagnons, there's the Witches.
Okay.
Now, if we can move to the next little tab, this shows the trees. These ones here were put on a berm that was put in by Market Basket in order to buffer
Yep.
more. This whole line of trees here were put in order to buffer us from the noise. We weren't supposed to hear it, see it, or smell it. And right here it states existing trees to remain.
Okay.
Okay? Now, back in the beginning,
Their arrow is pointing.
there were many meetings. There was several site visits with both planning board people and the abutters to determine exactly what was going to take place in here. And
Excuse me, Mr. Curran, is this the buffer zone that they cut, they were supposed to
yes,
leave?
I'll show you, Suey, I'll show you pictures of it. And I don't mean to, but I want to. You're the third board we've been in front of. We've been with this for 4 years. I'm disgusted. We're all disgusted, fed up with it. Shouldn't happen.
No.
This is a letter to the clerk, Gene Grover, in 1986. And this is signed by Bob Madden, the planning board, when Bob Madden was on the planning board.
That's what year?
87.
1986.
Okay.
This is all part of this whole development. And it states here, the berm at the rear of the building will have slopes. This is all this area here, the
Okay.
berm that they had to put in. Because this was all woods.
Mm-hmm.
They cleared it all, and they cleared back to here. And they had to replace it, putting a berm there. But those trees were there, they never touched. Have a slope as shown on plan dated February 3rd, 1986, revised on April 2nd, 1986. The applicant shall carry in addition to that shown on plan of February 3rd, 1986, revised April 2nd, 1986, and allow for 24 trees, these are white pines,
Okay.
to be planted on the easterly side of the property berm. This is east this way.
East.
Final location shall be subject to review following a site inspection of the Raleigh Planning Board. And some of the abutters, I'm sure Mr. Witcher was one of them at the time because Mr. Mahoney only moved in a few years ago. We went out with the planning board at that time and we walked. Andrea Cooper was one of the people. Mario Santarelli was another one of the members. That's one article that I'll leave you with. And the 24 trees after the site visit went from 24 to 72 because there weren't enough trees that were going to cover it.
Cover it, okay.
So that's that piece of paper which you can keep.
So this is, on this piece of paper here,
I mean, if you want to take the time and read the whole thing at some point in time, you'll get a better flavor for it.
okay, the allowance of 24 type pine trees to be planted on the easterly side, okay. 24 trees, this red is your writing?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and where was the 72? Where, was that just a verbal agreement, or was there a letter?
That's the agreement.
Okay,
Because back then, to be very honest with you, there wasn't a lot of formality. Let's face it. Some of these documents weren't even available to this town. If Mr. Witcher or I hadn't kept them, you wouldn't have them. The Registry of Deeds in Salem has none of this. My wife went down there, has none of it. And the clerk that she went to said, hey, money buys anything.
excuse me, you said what?
Money buys anything. Well, it proves to you money does buy anything because if I, as a resident of this town, disturb the wetland on my property, what would happen? Excuse my French, my butt would be in, okay? Not here.
Have you spoken to representatives of Market Basket?
We've had meetings with them. We've had meetings with them. They came, John Matthews is the representative, and he really represents the property manager, but he still represents Market Basket.
What did they say in regards to the trees?
that they cut down. They had to put the system there. That was agreed to, and that's why it was done. So in 1989, and this again is from the planning board, at the time it was David Brownell, okay? I mean, so, the applicant is responsible for cleaning up and removing all litter within the entire site, including but not limited to the access roadway, the parking area, the truck delivery area, and the landscaped areas. If in the opinion of the planning board, trash becomes a public safety or health problem, then the board may require trash removal on a more frequent basis, or the installation of additional dumpsters to be done by the applicant at the applicant's expenses. And in accordance with the zoning bylaw section 3.4.3.9.2, the applicant shall be responsible for collecting litter within 500 feet of the premises resulting from its uses permitted at least daily and more frequently if necessary to prevent unsightly conditions of litter. Outdoor lighting shall not shine on adjacent properties and shall be as shown on the endorsed site plan. Post-construction noise level shall not exceed the pre-construction noise level. If noise becomes a problem in the future, in the opinion of the planning board, then the board may require further landscaping or screening to be installed by the applicant at the applicant's expenses. And then down here in the bottom, and Kurt, it states, delivery and trash trucks shall not enter the site for delivery prior to 7:30 a.m. and after 9 p.m. daily on the basis of noise at abutting Cedarwood Lane neighbors. That was changed from 7:30 to 7 at the meeting that we had in September.
This past September.
I didn't like it then, I don't like it now. There's a document that states, it's signed by a member that represented this town, 7:30, not 7.
Upon the request.
Of who?
You want to continue, just so we can get, and I'll take questions.
And I apologize for the cross discussion, Mr. Chairman.
Just so I keep the focus.
Any landscape specimens that die within the 2-year planting shall be replaced at the expense of the applicant, and the hours of operation shall be limited from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. The trucks go in there, even though it's been moved to 7, the trucks will go in there 6.
5, 6.
So the plantings that were done, if within the 2 years, if they died, they were to be replaced.
That's back then.
Back then?
Yes.
Right, okay.
Now, the last document I'll hand you here is, and this is signed by Gregory Titterington.
Planning board member.
Bottom line is, we weren't supposed to see it, spell it, or hear it. Okay, and we do. All of those, and you can look over that while I get and show you.
Clear understanding that the Cedarwood Lane residents would not see it, smell it, or hear it in regards to Market Basket project.
Now, this is off a Google map, and the date on it is 2010. These are the houses that are involved.
Okay, where's yours, Dick?
This is Mr. Witcher,
Okay,
this is Mr. Mahoney,
Yep.
and this is mine.
right here, okay.
And Gagnon used to own that house. All of these trees that are on our property, we planted them on the property.
Okay,
And if we had not, the view would have been like Mr. Witch's is, and I'll show you what it was, and I'll show you what it is. Now,
That was actually an open field. It's a sheet of
This
land
used to be
built.
the buffer zone that they cut.
yes, that's what they cut out of there.
All this,
Yes, to give you a better perspective of it, and that was taken out of a Cessna 150. Okay, this too was also.
That's that.
And this one is in the fall, but that gives you
That's
better
your
perspective.
house right there, Dick, right? Mr. Witch's.
That's Mr. Witcher, that's Mr. O'Mahony, and that's
Okay.
ours. And that's where it is, and that's what it looks like in the fall.
And those little trees are what they planted?
The little, these
Those
little
little
guys here, yeah. Now,
Right here.
here's one picture that's taken from my backyard before they cut the trees down. There's two pictures after they cut the trees down. There's another one from a different angle of before and after. These are from behind Mr. Witch's house.
This is Mr. Witch's house also?
Right. And that's the trash that blows around behind the houses. I asked that I get these back and those
Certainly.
photos back. Those are the only ones I want back.
Yes,
The rest of it you can keep.
this is the vent for their septic
That's
system.
the vent for the septic
For
system.
theirs,
Yes.
I did get a call from your wife.
Yes.
And I did make I drove by Cedarwood Lane.
Right.
And I can attest to the views from looking through. You can clearly see the right to the building of Market Basket, the plaza.
Dick, I spoke to your wife also.
Yes, I know that, yeah. Now, my wife would be here tonight, but she had another, she'd already made arrangements and
Stu, you have those bottom pictures, so we'll
certainly. Sorry about that.
Jack and Joe see them.
Yeah, look at the trash.
I think that these trees were part of the buffer and they cut them
You
out.
can see right
no,
there.
these trees are in my yard. If these trees weren't there, we'd see much more of it.
Yeah, these are in your yard, but
It's-
these big trees,
The big trees in the back, they cut out, yes.
these here.
Yep.
What you said also is that this is not, the special permit is not recorded in the registry of deeds?
None of it is. Jack, may I have those pictures?
Yeah, that's them.
No,
I'm gonna make
these
sure
ones,
they-
yeah. I just
yeah,
want to
yeah,
make
yeah.
sure that
Okay.
Mr. Witcher gets those
I
back.
have these three here.
Just make sure you have.
Dick, do you have anything else?
Pardon?
Do you have anything else for us?
Nope, that's not mine. I don't want to take any more paperwork than I came with. To be honest with you, you know what you require from 2009 till now? A copy of paper box of documentation. Some of the fences and noise mitigating that we suggested were presented to Mr. Matthews at one of the Board of Health meetings.
That's similar to the
Right.
noise abatement that they have put up along highways,
Yes.
Actually, there's another one here.
the fencing.
A wooden one also.
I've got, just bear with me. because I have two up there. Too many papers, too many places. After they cut the trees down and put the system in, that was the token trees that they put in.
Did Jack and Joe see?
There's, they're saying now that there's supposed to be 2 rows of trees.
Yeah, and that's those little.
Those are the little ones right
Yeah.
here.
Right.
And how tall are they?
Well, when they were put in, they were probably about 5 feet. They might be 6.5 feet,
And
something
that's,
like that.
and that was put in
In 2010, 2011, yeah.
2000, okay.
What was the size, Dick, of the trees that they took down?
Oh, they 30
Huge.
footers.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
25,
Yeah,
35?
I mean, they'd been there
Yeah.
long before we moved in. We've been there for 42 years now.
Yeah, you
So-
can hardly, when I talked to your wife the other night, I drove in there yesterday,
Yep.
around the back, and you clearly can see 3 houses
Yeah.
from that area.
Yeah.
Not only the 2 there, I could, you know, and even with the foliage starting on the, some of the trees now, imagine what it is in November.
Wait, you're speaking with the representatives of Market Basket and everything. What are they saying?
Well, they've only, Mr. Matthews has only been at 2.
Okay, so
The first meeting.
you had no personal meetings you had at the planning board?
We had
Okay.
meetings at no. In fact, Mr. Matthews showed up one Saturday when he put this section of stockade fence up that is not gonna do what he expects it to do. This is what was presented to us at the planning board meeting of September 5th, 2012. Now, in another 6 weeks, it's going to be 18 months since we had our meeting with the planning board, our first meeting with the planning board.
18 months, and now
18
they're
months.
just getting to the,
That was given to us in September of last year.
okay. And then
And nothing's been done.
The idea of putting the fence up started when?
Put the fence up,
Put the,
we
Your discussion
we requested a fence back with the health department
with the health department back in 2009.
in 9.
Nine.
Yes.
And then
2009,
when did
2000.
Mr. Matthews, I take it?
Yes, yeah.
Who said that he was gonna put a fence up?
All he did was put the trees in. That's what that's basically.
That was it?
Yeah, that
So
was it.
That was back in 2009, there was a discussion about the trees and the fence.
Yeah.
All that was
And
put
we
in
needed
was the
more than was
trees.
there. In fact, after those trees were put in, Mr. Matthews came there, Mr. Witcher, Mr. Mahoney, and myself were there, and he got out of the car, walked towards the back of this, and he was probably somewheres in, let me look at this drawing here, because this is what we're talking about. He parked his car down in here, and he was on this area here. The first words out of Mr. Matthews' mouth were, "That's not enough trees. We gotta get more trees here. We gotta do more to this." That was back 2010.
That was Mr. Matthews.
That was Mr. Matthews.
We need more trees.
We need more trees.
But they never put any.
So, they never put them in. So, now we fast forward to 2010, when we sent another letter to the planning board, and we were able to put together a meeting with the planning board, and that's when we met on December in 2011. We sent we sent that letter to the planning board, the board that now Mr. Bryant is the chairman of. And in 2011, December, we had the meeting. So that's kind of when the discussion and the ball was picked up again and we moved forward. But as you can see, in September of 2012, we get this plan presented to us with this one, with a lot more trees, a fence, another chain link fence here. But we're 18 months into this. It shouldn't take that long. It shouldn't take us coming to a third board in order to rectify it. Now, I've spoken with Mr. Bryant on the phone, and to be very honest with you, our first meeting, all of the abutters, everyone felt good because we had made our presentation. Some of the things that were made was about the existing trees weren't supposed to be taken out of there. In fact, I believe it's Mr. Jaquith, am I saying his name correctly?
Yes.
At the second meeting, which unfortunately my wife and I couldn't attend, but Mr. Witcher and Mr. Mahoney did, we were complimented on the very good presentation that we made and all the detail we put into it. So you, again, feel good about it, and we are heading in the right direction. But it's taken us this long to get this document out of Market Basket. And now, so what we have there is Mr. Matthews, Market Basket, put up a 9-foot fence with a 12-inch board on the bottom and 8-foot stockade fence to make up the 9 feet. In this that was presented to us, it's supposed to be pressure-treated boards, 2 by 10 inch, with boards, I think it's 6 by 6 pressure-treated boards. Now, we did discuss, instead of having these boards, have them steel posts. And we're not opposed to that. If that's what we, if that's what has to happen, that's what's happening.
So this would basically be a barrier similar to the noise abatement barriers
Right,
that they put
exactly.
along
Yeah.
the highway.
And at that meeting, the abutters looked at it and said, in principle, we could live with this, but let us take it away, look at it, and come back to you. Well, here we stand. Now, it's a proposed 9-foot fence. This is a picture taken from my deck of myself out on that berm where they proposed to put that fence. And the sign, the white sign on top of the post, and I've used a telescoping pole to put it up 9 feet. It's not going to cover the building. This is a picture, and I did send this email to Katrina, who has been very, very helpful in this, and has really followed up every time.
Dick, that's the fence right there? What,
Pardon? No,
what is that?
that's a storage trailer that really and truly shouldn't even be there. Do they have a permit to have a storage trailer there? No.
So a 9-foot fence, the top of,
That there is 13 feet,
that's 13 feet, okay.
and that covers the building.
Okay. Well, you need quite a, to not to be able to see it, you need
Yes, exactly.
quite a fence.
Now, in my last conversation with Mr. Bryant, which was last Wednesday, I was told that because the fence is bigger than 6 feet, it would have to go before the building inspector. We've had no site visits by anybody out here, even though they've been requested. And it's just dragged on, and to be very honest with you, it's starting to get the same momentum as it was with the Board of Health. This should have been done. It should be completed. My question is, or our question is, you're the third board. What's this board going to do for the abutters that the other two haven't? And once again, if we violated something, we have orders of conditions. We have special, and there's a reason for that, because they're not supposed to be changed. Right or wrong. So, but this was.
Okay. Dick, are you through? I don't want to cut you off or... Dick,
Yep.
you all set?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Chairman Bryan.
Would you like to, you have a lot of documents there that I got to speed. Katrina and myself discussed this, and we're up to speed, and obviously have engaged Mr. Matthews and Market Basket to comply with, very old orders. There is a lot of documentation, but there's two special permits, one with the original and one with the expansion. And those are the actual conditions that we're dealing with going forward.
Those conditions different from the original?
They're from the original, from 1986 and 1989.
They've changed the conditions?
No, I mean,
Oh.
the conditions have.
Conditions are still the
yeah.
same.
They're all the same?
That's the only, yeah, and that's the two that still are in existence,
What I
to my
see is-
knowledge. There's been nothing subsequent to that.
Okay, what did Mr. Matthews say?
Then, well, in terms of blocking out, in terms of engineering a fence, maybe a stockade is the right word. I don't necessarily would say it. I mean, it's cedar, wide
Stockade.
cedar boards that are butting each other, and they're vertical instead of horizontal with a pressure treat, and they're white cedar, so they're going to last a long time.
What are these, the picket type?
No, it's not.
Narrow,
Yeah,
these
I would never allow.
It's,
No,
it's your generic
No,
stockade
but,
fence.
yeah, but he's not doing any pickets. These are.
Well,
full-
I mean,
this
when I
is
say
custom.
pickets, I'm talking about the stockade, the narrow stockade
That's what
fence,
it is, with one-
cedar.
Yeah,
It looks like the kind you can buy at Home
No,
Depot.
they're being cut. This is gonna be custom.
like a homeowner would buy, basically.
Well, that's not really what they're,
No,
so
this
we're awaiting, a plan. He obviously has to go in front of the building inspector.
Yeah.
This has to be engineered because it has to be level and it has to be put in, with footings correctly so that it won't, bend or whatever, so. So we're waiting for that from, Market Basket and John Matthews. I mean, one thing I would definitely agree that, shouldn't have taken this long. I mean, we have, John Matthews, when he came to the meeting, agreed to install a fence in the spring of 2013. And that's our goal, and that's Katrina's goal, and we've engaged them to get that done. As far as, I think ongoing discussions and a dialogue has to be open and ongoing in terms of noise, litter, making sure the chain link, that kind of upkeep that, I'm only on board the last couple of years, but I empathize and sympathize for people who are next to a commercial zone where litter blows into their yards. I mean, that, obviously, when, 30 garbage trucks go down my street every day and the litter flies out, I go out and pick it up and I get irritated. But this is an ongoing commercial operation. There is going to be a certain amount of disruption during the hours of operation.
Didn't Mr. Matthews give you any kind of time?
We're waiting, we're engaged with him now, so.
I think you probably should talk to Mr. Matthews, that this is terrible public relations.
Well,
This is awful
no
public
disagreement for me.
relations.
What I would like the board to is to look at, if you have a chance to discuss what you heard tonight from the abutters that came, and this is the same information that we have, and then send Katrina a recommendation that you have, something that we can pass on to give some teeth and leverage going forward. Market Basket will be, I think, in the future talking to us I mean, we've now opened up a dialogue. There was many years there where there was no dialogue, and I, you know, and it was very difficult to even get John Matthew to, within his schedule, to come to the meeting. So now I think we have an open dialogue, and I'd like to maintain it so we can get these things done. I mean, that's my goal, so.
John Matthews is the representative for Market Basket.
His clients are Market Basket. He was also the representative during the initial design phase, permitting phase, and construction phase.
I mean, 9 year, I mean, not 9 years, from 2009 till now, with all that I've heard, I mean, this is like, you know,
Yeah, we live right behind it, we know. We go through it.
it's like kicking a dead dog around. I mean, this is terrible, terrible public relations.
I'm upset about this cutting the buffer zone. They agreed not to touch the
Well-
buffer zone. They went ahead and cut it on these neighbors.
And didn't talk,
Abutters.
you're right, Stuart.
And,
didn't talk to-
that's a difficult situation. On the initial plan from 1986, that's where the reserve system is located. You know, you have to try to undo maybe an error from the beginning that you put a reserve area that if it has to be, and it's not surprising to me that the reserve area had to be used in an emergency basis when you have the kind of operation that Market Basket has with their produce and all the things they do in the back and the bathrooms and all that, and they overload a system. It's not surprising to me that at some point, just like a restaurant, that it would have to be redone. Why that reserve area is there, that's way before my time.
I mean, this is living with your neighbors. This is, you know,
Yeah,
your
I mean,
neighbors are, you're, not just abutters, these are neighbors.
You have to mitigate, if you take away something, you have to replace it, that's in the best way. I mean, white pines have the ability to grow. Obviously, there's not too many 15 to 20 foot fences in Raleigh. That's a whole another engineering type of engagement, if that's something. But what I'm saying, I'd like to leave it at this, is that I'd like a recommendation from the selectmen through Katrina to us that I can take before the board, get a letter out to Demoulas saying that, you know, this took place, this meeting, and that, you know, this is seriously is a PR issue. And it's also an issue going forward in terms of being a good neighbor when they want to do further development, you know? So.
This is upsetting.
Yes, Cliff Witcher, one of the abutters.
Thanks, Cliff.
You know, this all could have been resolved. The last meeting we dealt with the planning board, we walked away and we felt good about it.
So
It's all about the fence. A picket fence is not gonna make it happen. We walked away with thinking it was gonna be a good constructed 2x8, 2x10, pressure treated, being there for many, many years. Not something that's gonna blow down. I looked at the picket fences. Each picket had one nail in it. And I mean, picket fence, it's not gonna work for us.
I would not, that's something that the planning, but that's not what I believe is going up. And it's
Okay,
something
could
we
you-
wouldn't
could
allow to
you-
go up. And neither would, when you have a 9-foot fence, it has to be engineered such that it's not gonna blow over. It is gonna be, the building inspector is not going to give, and I'm gonna be engaging the building inspector, not going to give permission to build a fence that's going to blow over, it's going to be warped, not going to be square, and not going to be aesthetically useful, not aesthetically and functionally useful.
Why
Because-
was a picket fence?
But if you want to give a model, I mean, that's not, you can say,
That has nothing to do with what is gonna be put out there.
that's,
Kurt, could you get back to Mr. Matthews? Try to straighten this out and come back before the board and, again, this is terrible public relations and it's not being a good neighbor,
we'd
frankly.
be happy to.
Okay?
If you can,
And Bob, want to
if
say something?
if you can derive something in writing out of this meeting to us, I'd appreciate it. You know, it doesn't have to be long, but, you know, some bullet points of concerns that you have based on the information that you receive. And I know it's almost 8 o'clock.
There's a couple of issues here that disturb me very much so. Obviously, they got that reserve system put in there, knowing full well in sometime in the future that they would have to put it in and cut those trees down, and agreed to keep the trees there. What really upsets me is the fact that it never got filed at the registry, and that's gotta get corrected.
What, the Board of Health, the septic plan?
Reserve?
Not the septic plan.
Reserve
Special
field.
permit.
The
Special permits from 89 and 80. That doesn't happen anymore, believe me. We don't issue, no building permit happens until the stamped plan is on the building inspector's desk.
Well, that, I mean, with the registry of deeds.
Yeah, but I'm just
There's
saying
a
it does
condition
not.
put on this that they would be there for perpetuity, and they're not there anymore.
Yeah,
So Market Basket's gotta step up to the plate
Yep.
and put in a sound barrier there, not a picket fence like somebody suggested. It's gotta be a sound barrier. They've disrupted these people's lives.
and
It's
an
not
ongoing-
right.
Yeah, it's an ongoing operation.
Market Basket has profited from this because they can keep their store open because they put this thing in here where it doesn't belong.
Well, that was the original
And-
plan
and-
that was approved.
And I think you need to let Mr. Matthews
somebody
know
made a
this is not
mistake.
gonna go away until it's corrected.
But my concern is that Market Basket now has made a mistake in taking those trees out. They've got to correct that. And they've got to put a sound barrier in it, because it's the only way it's gonna work. You can't see that building. They put in 4-foot trees here. It's gonna take 20 years for them to grow up.
Dead and gone, you know, they're not- we want something now.
Yeah, they're not, I mean, I've been out there, I mean, the spec is 6 to 8 foot pines, white pines.
Did they actually,
Which, when properly cared for, will grow a foot a year, when properly cared for.
I think
And that means that someone has to go out with a water truck.
you know that's not gonna happen,
Well,
correct?
well, that's the only way they're gonna do.
And on this plan, they show a 4-foot chain link fence, which isn't gonna do anything.
That's
It's
gonna
a
be,
plan.
it's
Is that
out
the chain
in
link fence
front.
we have in here?
Yeah, no, that's gonna be
There's
out
some-
front for the, trash.
There's a fence there now, right? That little one.
Yeah.
The chain-
No.
Yeah, the original plan was interesting, that was amended way back in the 80s. There was supposed to be a fence in the original plan, so.
We just want it heavy enough that's gonna stay for
Yeah,
a
it's supposed to be a
long
chain
time.
link, yeah.
Sound barrier, we don't wanna hear it.
And the
we don't
chain
wanna
link
see
fence
it.
got shortened at some point in the process. and I
Because
don't know
this
why.
board will revisit this issue again and again and again and again.
But as Mr.
I'm in
Curran
total
said, it's
agreement.
been several years now.
Well, we're engaged now, I mean, so that's.
I think the thing that really upsets me
There was
is
a long gap
is
when
the
nothing
idea
was
of
happening.
is the idea of neighbors. Okay, this is a corporation, but still, it's a neighbor. Okay, and you have abutters here, they're neighbors, and they should be treated as such.
Well, it's a commercial resident of Raleigh. That's what
Absolutely.
it is.
Been there a lot longer than they have.
It's
Well, some-
disgusting with the trash along that chain link fence
Oh,
there,
it's-
with all the help they
I've
have, they
never
could be
seen
out
one
there
person out there
policing
policing
that.
area. You come in
Market
my
basket
backyard
could.
now, and it's in the trees, it's everywhere. I'm tired of picking it up. I
There was
really
there
am.
was something mentioned at the very beginning of the meeting that they may be looking to expand. I can
Yes.
tell you one thing. As long as I'm on the board and they don't straighten this out, they're not gonna get their permits.
Where are they gonna
You
put
can
a
tell
septic?
Mr. Matthews that.
Shortly, Mr. Chairman, shortly after our meeting in December, my wife and I were in Market Basket, and Cliff Pierce happened to be there at the checkout, and we discussed very briefly the fact that they wanted to put in another freestanding retail store. And almost a quote, "You people now have leverage to make them do what they need to do."
Well, I mean, we look at every application objectively and independently. I mean, I'll say that.
I understand, and if I
And
may
that-
just
Well,
mention
that's
one
my
more
position.
thing, Mr. Chairman.
I mean, obviously, that knowledge is there.
If I may speak with Mr. Bryant through the chair.
Sure.
Correct. That's 9 feet.
Yeah, I've seen this one.
That's 13. I know that you have these, Katrina.
Yeah, I've seen it, yeah.
That's not gonna cover the building. 9 feet's not gonna do it.
But the pine trees will grow in eventually too.
I understand that.
They're
I
high.
want something now.
Somewhere's between 9 and 13.
Right.
9's not gonna do it. 9 feet, because the buffer, the berm in the back, it slopes down. It's not level like the one in the front. And there's 4 pine trees that they planted originally that are dead.
I'm just hoping we can maybe come to a compromise soon so we can get something out.
Well,
instead of-
We want to get on with our lives.
I would,
That's
I
what we
would, I
want
would,
to
I
do.
would, I would like to get.
I think,
All right, so I would like you to help us in this regard. So,
Well,
with
again, I
your
think that-
feelings, your strong feelings, and something that we can pass on and discuss.
a
at
letter
our
from the
meeting.
board, we have a motion to
We,
send a
we
letter.
have
to
a,
the
we have a
board.
meeting on
to-
Wednesday.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
A second, all those in favor?
Aye.
We will send a letter to the planning board, okay, addressing this, please,
And we have a meeting on Wednesday, and if the letter does come before Wednesday,
I'll be there before
I'll be
Wednesday.
glad to read it into the record. Okay.
Okay,
Mr. Chairman,
yes.
if I may, I think any further permits with Market Basket should be not denied until they,
Well, I
Live
want to
up to
see
their
what
agreement.
happens from this, okay? And then, if this board's not satisfied, we're gonna readdress this. Come back to this again and again and again until this is resolved. And I think you've heard the tone of this board tonight and how we feel. This is not being a good neighbor.
I agree.
Dick, you want this back?
Well, you can keep all of that.
All right,
I'll get you your own little
All right.
copy paper box if you want it.
Should we take it up now?
Would you,
okay. So,
would you copy me in on that letter?
yes, we will. We'll CC you, okay?
And then I'll let the abutters know.
Pass it to, okay?
Thank you.
Kurt, thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
That I want
Thank you,
back.
Katrina.
Okay.
You guys for coming.
That's the only thing I really want back. I want
So do I.
Which one do you want then?
that one
Okay,
back.
sure.
Do you mind that?
Okay.
And then I need that back. So why don't you keep that? That's what we're talking about right
Okay.
now.
All right. Dick, thanks for coming in tonight.
Thank you for having us.
All right.
Thank you.
night clip.
Okay.
And tell you why, it's the reason I didn't return a call was that I knew we were on the agenda for tonight.
Continue doing it.
But we will get things moving.
Next 2 weeks.
You gentlemen?
Sir, how are you?
I'm well, thanks. How are you?
You're actually
Good
early.
to see you. Well,
It's only May.
Give my friend
It's only
a chance
May.
to speak.
Mr. Cook.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Mr.
Hey, Stu.
Thanks for
Good
coming.
to see you.
Oops, sorry, I got you. It's only water.
Good. How about you?
I don't know if he can wait till we do it. Yes, Sean.
Oh, God.
Wait till we do the
This is
proclamation.
all Bruce. What did I do with them? Did I fold it up in the, I must have. Yeah, if I don't have that, I don't know what I think I'm doing. No, not that. There we go. All right.
I'll be right behind you.
Senator Tar is with us tonight. Senator, always a pleasure to have you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's good to be here. Good to see you, Bob.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. My pleasure. Stu, good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you, Jack. And, Mr. Chairman, I want to say that for many reasons this is a special meeting, but one of them, I understand, is because Selectman Dalzell is experiencing his last meeting tonight officially, and I want to say thank you to him as well for his tremendous service to the community. It's been a pleasure and an honor, Stu, to work with you, and I think the town has been well served by your term on the Board of Selectmen. And I know that you're moving on to other public service because you just can't get enough, but I did want to take a minute just to say thanks on the occasion of your last meeting. I've really enjoyed working with you.
Thank you, Senator. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, with your indulgence, I am here for a very special and important reason tonight. And that is to recognize the fact that over the past year, we have lost a very dedicated employee of this town and a very distinguished citizen of this town. And of course, I refer to Scott Levitt. And I think all of us who had the opportunity and the honor to work with Scott knew that he was the consummate professional who always had the interest of this town in his mind and at forefront. And in addition to that, we also know how proud he was of his military service and how proud he was to be involved with Veterans Affairs in the town of Rowley. And his departure really, for all of us, was a very sad loss. But his service and his life was something that I think we all feel should not go unrecognized, not only because of what he has meant and what his legacy does mean to all of us, but because he is a shining example of what public service can be and what good citizenship can be. So we have a special way of providing recognition in the Senate, Mr. Chairman, and I use that sparingly.
for just a few individuals. Unfortunately, I've had to use this more than I would have liked this year for some very distinguished individuals, but in this case, I'm very proud to do it. What we do on those occasions is adjourn the formal session of the Senate in the memory of a particular individual who was an example for the citizens of the Commonwealth. And Scott Levitt was an example for the citizens of the Commonwealth. So what I have tonight is a copy of that adjournment. And when we do this, a particular senator will make a motion, the brief story of that individual's life will be read, and then a vote is taken on whether or not to adjourn in memory of that individual. Subsequent to that vote, this becomes part of the permanent record of the Massachusetts Senate, so that forever, people who want to learn a little bit about public service can find out about Scott Levitt, and that we can have a lasting memorial of what he has meant and continues to mean to all of us. And I might point out that I do have a soft spot in my heart for highway directors. My father was an employee of the Gloucester DPW for 37 years. And as a result of that, I know what it means to have those late nights when you have to clear the roads of snow, or when you have that road that fails when you didn't expect it to fail, and people need to pass and you have to get through it. Or you have a water pipe that breaks and all of a sudden that wreaks havoc and everybody has to respond. And in Scott's case, it was just that little bit extra that he didn't have to do, but that he did do, because to him it was much more than a job. It was public service, and he served us with distinction. So if I might read this, it's an adjournment in memory of A. Scott Levitt, and it reads as follows. The senator from Essex and Middlesex, Mr. Tarr, moves that when the Senate adjourned today, it adjourn in memory of A. Scott Levitt of Rowley. A. Scott Levitt of Rowley passed away on Thursday, March 7th, 2013, following a battle with cancer. Scott was recently the tree warden for the town of Rowley, and for the past 20 years, the town's highway surveyor. Scott was educated in local schools and then served for 10 years in the National Guard. He was a proud and longtime member of Rowley Veterans Association. Scott is survived by his wife Leah Ann Buckley Levitt of Rowley, 4 children, 2 brothers, 2 sisters, 2 grandchildren, and a large and extended family. And I would add, legions of admirers in the town of Rowley. Accordingly, as a mark of respect in memory of A. Scott Levitt, at 10 minutes past 11 o'clock a.m., on motion of Mr. Tarr, the Senate adjourned to meet again on Thursday next at 11 o'clock a.m. And when we took this vote, the Senate fell silent as a mark of respect to Scott. And I can tell you how proud I was to be able to bring the story of this remarkable man into the Senate chamber, where we could all understand that story and express our respect for this wonderful human being. And I would say to Scott's family, first of all, I'm very appreciative of the fact that you're here tonight. And also Scott's successors in the highway department, because you carry on a great legacy as well. But I would say that the entire Senate in Massachusetts wanted to show you this mark of respect. And that respect is also carried on in the legacy that you have, all of you, in your hearts for Scott. And we know that you will never let us forget him, and we know that you will never forget his example, and that you will go on in your own lives in testimony to that example. So, Mr. Chairman, I am very pleased to be able to bring this. I know that we all feel this loss deeply, but I know that we also feel a lot of pride for this man, and that helps us to carry through that loss. So, Lee, if I could present this to you, I'd like to do that right now. So this is for you.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. And thank you. Thank you for taking such good care of Scott. We appreciate it very much.
Thank you.
It's okay. It's okay.
Thank you very much.
Scott was truly loved in this town by all of us.
I know.
And all I can say is when I called Scott on his cell phone, it never got to the third ring. Scott was always there for me. He always answered the question that I asked him for. One of the first people I met when I moved to this town. And if everyone was like Scott, what a town this would be. And I think the transition that's been made to Ron is really because of Scott. He ran that department the way he did. And, you know, I know I'm a better man for having known Scott. And this town is a better town because of Scott.
And I'm a better woman.
Yeah. Again, you know. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much.
And Senator, thank you so much for coming here tonight and presenting that. It means a lot to all of us in this town.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I know the esteem that this board holds Scott in, and I just appreciate your giving me the opportunity to come so that we could share in this expression of gratitude for his service and his life.
Leo, can you come over here with the senator? We'll take a picture of the board.
I got my scare all over.
Oh, you look fine.
Come on over here. This is our photo card.
Oh, okay.
Hold on.
Okay.
Very good, thank you. Senator, thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Appreciate it. Thank you. You take care.
I'll get my scare all
That would start rumors. Take care. Thank you.
Okay, who has the cell phone?
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Jack, thank you for letting me do this. This was great.
Leah, thank you for coming in tonight. It was difficult.
Can you email me the pictures?
Debbie, thank you. I'll send you a few more. We should see if we can do something.
Mr. Chairman, would we be able to take up general business number 5 while
Yes.
we, our
Sean,
notary-
sorry to keep you waiting.
No, it's
House
fine.
notary is available to witness this.
Okay. Let me find all my papers here.
No worries.
Sorry about that. Okay. Board of Selectmen needs to sign the deed to transfer the care of custody of 5.3 acres Bishop property to Raleigh Conservation Commission as voted under Article 17, a special town meeting, May the 6th, 2013. And with that, do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Second it.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Mr. Chairman, could we just get who made the motion and the second again?
I made the motion.
And the second was Jack.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Sean, sorry to, you know.
No, I'm glad I was here for Scott. I was happy to be
Done with it. There's a pen on the other small box somewhere too.
You know, Sean was, Sean was talking about Scott. He was, had two families. Family at home, and he had the family here at the town.
He was exceptional.
Isn't that true, Ron?
What's that?
We were just saying about Scott. You had two families. You had family at home, and you had a family here. And you know that better than anyone, Ron.
He was always smiling.
Yep.
Oh, Sean?
I will reach out.
Okay.
Thank you.
You can bring us that tomorrow, Sean.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, we all set? Okay, letter, general business number. Let me see. Okay. Oh, yeah. Appointment, sorry. keep you waiting. Let me see if I can find my appointment. Thanks, Paul. Okay, the Board of Selectmen, I'm requesting the Board of Selectmen to lift the hiring freeze so that the Highway Department may post a part-time secretary and one full-time truck driver laborer. These positions will not be filled until the 1st of July 2013. Thank you for your consideration. Ron Keith, Highway Surveyor. And we have a 7:45, I apologize, but this is now 8:22. Discussion to lift the hiring freeze and for secretary and temporary truck driver. So with that, Ron, our highway surveyor.
Actually, the truck driver, I've been in talk with Deb, so we'd like to, your permission to approach the union. The issue there being, if another highway surveyor steps in down the road, I'd obviously fall back to foreman, and then would have one too many employees. So we'd like to approach the union and maybe hire someone for a temporary period of a year. I know the town of Middleton did it when someone went overseas in the military. They actually had it in the paper for 1 year posting.
Okay.
Or we could hire someone just during the probationary period. They're not in the union. Last day, we're really into the busy season right now. The secretary, obviously, we need, because I'm out on the road a lot more than Scott was, because we are one man down. And when I'm out, there's actually no one actually in charge either, so that was another issue that I would like to, with your permission, as of July 1st, as you are all aware, Pat Snow has been acting and has taken on a very large role down there.
No relation with it.
No.
A lot of snow's been popping up lately here. Yeah.
Which there was no money in. I'd like to make Pat temporary foreman. I have talked to him about it, and he is willing. He has shown great leadership.
Mm-hmm.
He has been there anytime Deb, Amy, or Doreen has called. He has been able to break through everything of Scott's on the computer, even solitaire. And he's phenomenal. And he is, when I am off, I have complete and utter faith in him. And I know during the 2 last snowstorms, I made it known to the contractors that if I'm away, you call Pat. He has a clean record, nothing in his file. He's always on time. He stays late, and he just takes a great leadership role. But the truck driver, with your permission, Deb and I would approach the union. I think we have negotiations coming up. We could bring it up during that. I briefly touched base with Mr. Lyons today because I'm friends with him, and he told me a couple ways we could do it. But hopefully in the course of a year we'd have money to hire another guy, because the highway department has gone from 5 guys, 4, 3,
Mm-hmm.
and now we're running on, I'm highway surveyor, we're running on 2 guys, and if one guy's out, you literally have one guy, which
Mm-hmm.
he might as well sit in the corner, because there's nothing to do with one guy.
Okay. Any questions from the board?
No, I think it's a good idea. We definitely need to do, I know Scott was running behind on employees when he was there, and we were trying to figure out how we could make that back up to where it was supposed to be. And I think Ron's got a good idea here.
Right.
To do it that way, and once we get settled out and find out where things are gonna go, we can probably add that extra guy.
And also right now, we're pretty much acting water department on any breaks, so.
Okay.
I fully support that one. Yep.
Do I have a motion from the board?
I'll make the motion that we request of the highway surveyor that we lift the hiring freeze for a part-time secretary and 1 full-time truck driver / laborer.
Okay. Stu, were you going to say something?
I'll second that with a truck driver and laborer.
Okay.
Actually put for a year in there.
As outlined by Ron.
Yeah,
I
that's
would
outlined by Ron.
work with the union on that
In
one.
accordance with the discussions with the
With the
union,
union,
because it is
Okay.
a union position, so we do need to sit down with them and talk to them
Okay.
about this before we could
With those
actually post
conditions
it.
Yeah.
placed
Fine.
on the motion, okay? With that, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay,
Thank you,
Ron?
gentlemen.
Ron, thanks for coming in tonight.
Thanks,
I know-
Ron.
I know
Thanks,
it's
Ron.
very diff-
I'm usually in a shirt and tie. I'm sorry about this, but I was playing with the children tonight. And then I had
No,
to
no,
pick up
I
Leah.
know it was difficult for you to come in with Scott tonight, and Leah. And I want to thank you for, the smooth transition it's been, it really has been. And again, it's a testament to the way Scott ran the department, also how he, training with you and,
Yeah, he was a great teacher, but I do have we do have a phenomenal management team in this town. Deb, Amy, Doreen have been phenomenal. Anytime I've had any question, every one of you have been there for us. And Jack's always down making sure I'm doing the right thing, checking on me every other day. So
and I also have to say, when I call you on the cell phone, it never gets to the third ring either, so.
yeah, sometimes Debbie can't get a hold of me though. Thank God for caller ID.
Ron, thanks for coming in.
And I will add to that, because I've called him a few times
Thanks,
in there, and it's not 1 minute, 5 minutes. It's almost
Ron.
after I call.
I know.
He returns the call.
Yep.
Just have to find
He's
out which
great on
phone's
it.
ringing between the three. And
Ron, thank you again for coming in.
Thanks, Ron.
Thanks, Ron.
Okay. Okay, a letter from Agricultural Commission. Agricultural Commission has sent a letter requesting permission to hold a Raleigh Farmers Market on the Common. Agricultural Commission is again requesting for your permission to hold a Raleigh Farmers Market on the town common this season. The farmers market will be run consecutive Sundays from July 14th through September 29th, 2013, from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. The vendors will begin to set up at 7 a.m. and vacate the common by 2 p.m. We are seeking permission to hang the farmers market banner on the backstop at the common the week of July 8, 2013. The banner will be maintained throughout the summer. Thank you for your support. Diana Short, Secretary. Do I have a motion from the board?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we grant permission to the Raleigh Farmers Market to use the town common this season
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
and to hang the banner.
Aye.
Aye.
I
Thank you, Stu. Okay. Okay, where's the next one? Seven. Boys, people get a couple papers on my desk, and the next thing I can't find anything.
They took them with them.
Huh?
No,
I think they did. I think
Mr.
that's
Chairman,
right.
I can read the memo, it's from me
All
on
right.
behalf of the Personnel Board.
Oh, here you go.
There we go.
Regarding highway surveyor position, this memo serves as notification to the Board of Selectmen that the Personnel Board voted unanimously to recommend that the Board of Selectmen explore the process for making the position of highway surveyor appointed. This position is responsible for maintaining the town's roads and drainage systems, long-range planning for road and drainage improvement projects, and maintaining the town common and other public common areas. It's just a recommendation from the Personnel Board.
So,
Mr. Chairman, I move that we accept the recommendation from the Personnel Board in regards to the position of Highway Supervisor position and explore the options that we have.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
So we're going to explore the,
Explore the idea of.
What I will do
Process.
is outline and speak to the town's attorney, the legal process that would be required of the town to follow to make such a change. And I'll get back to the Board of Selectmen.
Basically, the timeframes too, Deb.
Yes.
Yeah, the town is growing, and it's, it's changing, so something to look into.
Debbie, you're gonna look into where both jobs have practically been held by both tree warden too?
If the
that be
board
something?
would like me to, I could do that. I was just gonna proceed with highway surveyor.
I would think too. Can we amend that motion?
I would
Yeah.
accept that amendment.
Okay. What, I heard a second?
Cause I'll second it.
A second, so,
I'll amend the
All-
motion that,
Well, it's been voted. You wanna just vote to include,
yeah, you
have
vote
a
to
separate
include, that's
motion
right,
to
not to
include
amend
tree
it,
warden?
okay, to include
I would think to explore the options.
Of tree warden.
tree
Yeah.
warden also.
Yeah.
Okay. Motion, second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Yeah, because they come practically under one roof, you know, tree trucks, everything's down
Makes
there.
sense.
You know,
Okay, minutes for April 29th, 2013. Has everyone read them?
Yes.
I have.
Yes, on page 6.
Good night, Larry.
Night, Larry.
Go watch the selectmen's top 10 motions.
On page 6, the third paragraph down, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lines up from the end of the paragraph.
Mm-hmm.
It says longer work for the town. It begins with the word longer,
Oh, okay.
and it says longer work for the town, period. I think that should be snow instead of now.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Not, I think, yeah,
Snows.
now said initially snow, it should be snow said initially. You drop the, see, if you drop the S, I go from snow to now.
no,
At least you're here now.
Well, at least I'm here now, that's true, yeah.
That's it. for me.
Okay. Oh, it's snow now, whatever. Here we go. All right, so, everybody read the minutes?
Yeah.
Any other corrections? Okay, a motion to accept the minutes for April 29th, 2000.
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Well,
Aye.
that's a tie there for the second. Joe's the
Joe,
second.
go for it.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Minutes for May 6th, 2013 meeting. Selectmen's meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody read the minutes?
Yes.
Aye.
All, do I have a motion? These are the ones just before the town meeting.
Yeah.
The
Right.
Selectmen's meeting.
I'll make that motion. We accept the minutes as printed for May 6th.
Jack makes the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second for Stu.
Hey.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
There we go. All right. Okay. Okay, announcements. Raleigh Food Pantry is in need of donations. The food pantry is open Tuesdays from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. and Thursdays from 5:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. They need everything. Anything you can bring it over. Just check the date on the can or the box and make sure it has it, because they can't use anything that's outdated. All right. You can drop it off at the behind the Baptist Church at the rectory, or you can, there's a drop-off basket at the library. Okay, the town has the following vacant seats: zoning board of appeals, 3 associate seats. If you were interested in that, please contact the Board of Selectmen's office. Also, the battery recycling box, there's one here at the town hall and also at the library. If you have any old D batteries, C batteries, I always take them, I put them in a little plastic pouch. When they add up, I fill the plastic pouch, take it down here right across from, in the hallway here, drop it off, or at the library. It's a good way, you want to, throw those batteries in the land waste. Okay, yes,
May I add
yes.
one announcement about tomorrow being the town election day, and the polls will be open at 12 o'clock until 8 p.m. And we urge all of the registered voters to exercise their ability to select the town officials for the new fiscal year.
Thank you, Joe. Right, good idea. Don't get out and vote tomorrow, okay? All right, we're going into executive session, okay? Going into executive session for the purpose of discussing strategy and respect for litigation and strategy with collective bargaining, because an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on litigation position of the town, and not to return to open session. Need a member of the board to make a motion.
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion, Mr. Selectman Cook. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second from Selectman Dalzell, his last second on this board. Okay. Again, Stu, thank you so
I guess
much.
you got a couple more minutes to go.
We got a couple more minutes to go. That's right. We're not going to let you out of here that easy, Stu, tonight, okay? And again, thank you so much for your service on this board.
Yes.
Okay. All those in favor of the roll call vote?
Aye, Jack Cook.
Aye, Joe Perry.
Aye, Robert Snow.
Aye, Robert Mary.
I, Stu Delzell.
Selectman Dalzell, thank you so much again. Good night, everyone. We'll see you next week, and don't forget tomorrow to vote. Good night.